Hi, welcome back to the C++ in chapter 2. Basically, we're going to zoom in into arithmetic operators. Uh, Previously, we showed a demonstration of how to use the cout command for hello world and how basically to download your dev C++. Okay, so let's look at this. The examples here. Um, Basically allows you to do some arithmetic um, solutioning or writing a program. Uh, as you can see in this program, you can define a value 6 plus 15. For example, over here, you can see that we can print out integer values, right? These are nice. In this example, we use standard colon cout. You can use just cout without the standard colon cout if we define our particular namespace as as previously uh, uh, explained in some of the other lectures, right? So okay, so let's play around with a program that basically does this, right? So if we look at this example over here, um, if we look at this example over here, we'll see a particular program that does integer division, right? So again, open your browser, right? Sorry, open your dev C++ program. Oh, where was it? Let me look for it for a bit. Okay, so open your dev C++ program, and let's try out the program that's provided by our PowerPoint here. So it's good practice basically to start programming um, with the IDE. The IDE basically gives you certain visual assistance with regards to how syntax is being colored. For example, int is a green color, and you can see some of the variables that's defined here are in white color, right? So yours might be different. It is depending on the choice of options that you use during the installation, right? Now, what's happening here is that we have an integer y, a, and b, right? Basically, those are defined variables. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to say a is 15, right? B is equals to 2, C is equals to, oh sorry, there's no C. Y here is equals to the division of A divided by B, right? Now remember your semicolons, because without the semicolons the output doesn't come out, right? Now you want to use cout to display your output. We can use Y colon colon output towards, and we're gonna use backslash n over here. Now backslash n basically is a ASCII character to show a new line. Now I'm gonna return 0, and I'm gonna save this program. And now after saving it, where was it? So after saving the program, now we can choose to compile and run, and let's look at what happens, right? So when we compile and run, we can see the output 7 came out. So basically what happened is we had made a division of integer numbers with 15 divided by 2 would result in 7, the value 7, right? If you're wondering why the output is in integer, well, this is because you have defined an integer value, b is an integer value, and y is an integer variable. So any division with it would also result in an integer. So things would be rounded off to the closest number, right? So okay, let's look for other parts of here. There are also unary operations that you can be doing. Some of the mathematical functions about mathematical norms like precedence are basically the same in mathematics. So you cannot really say plus minus an operation. This is not mathematically correct, or in some sense, but you can do it. Basically you can have parentheses to define groupings which would dictate the operations that's going to be done according to the mathematical precedence, right? So let's look at this. For example, you can have this a plus b in parentheses times 3 plus parentheses C over D. So this thing will be evaluated according to the uh, op operator precedence or mathematical precedence, right? Now, some of these parts, like in mathematics, this is accepted, but in programming, you have to include the multiplication, A times B, to define it correct, right? Okay, let's jump through, and we're gonna go for some other example. Here, if we look at this programming, we have a program to calculate the average weight, right? So this is a bit more interesting because the output for this uh, should be in a double value, right? Um, okay, let's see. So let's try this program here, right? And I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna start a new program, file new, source file here, and I'm gonna say again, include your IO stream, right? Oops, and using namespace standard and in main, right? Now don't forget your curly braces. Now you can spot double. I'm gonna say weight 1 here, weight 2, weight 3. Oh, sorry, there's no weight 3. Total and average, right? So these are all as defined as a double, right? You can do this separately or all together. We can declare it. This is what we call declaring a variable, right? So after declaring the variable, we could pretty much assign the values to these variables. I'm going to say weight 1 equals to, I'm going to follow this example here, right? Oops. Okay, don't forget a semicolon. Okay, assignment is not correct here. Let me correct that. Alright, so we have 6.5. Weight 2 is equals to 77.0. Remember, floating points as so you have to include the point 0 to define its floating. And total here would be weight 1 plus weight 2, right? So the idea of an average in this then would be the division of total divided by 2, right? And make sure you have that 0 again to define it very clearly that it is a floating number. Now, after doing that, we can pretty much print out the average, right? The average weight is, and this is the time where we output the value of average. Now, if you look at here, what I have put in is the command NL. NL basically brings out the value, a new line for me instead of using /n. Okay, so I'm going to save. I'm going to call this chapter 1.1. Save it. Yes, I had it previously. So okay, now I'm gonna compile it and see how it runs, right? So compile and run, and what you're gonna see is that the average weight is 71.25, right? So if you can see this, basically this is the output, and you notice now the output is not integer. This is basically because when you use an integer, you get an integer output. When you use a floating point number or a double, it it will output the type of data type that you want to output, right? So keep that in mind as you're doing your programming. Certain things to debug and figure out, right? The data type is kind of important because it defines what the programmer wants to do, and the limitations of particular data types being used, right? So I'll continue this again with probably in other topics in this area.